You know what? I will tell you what, it has been an absolute crazy week here. The weather has been off the chart in the last 3 days since Hurricane Ian come through. We've had nor'easter. I mean, it's cold, it's windy, it's raining. I'm used to this from having lived in Ohio, Michigan, and New Hampshire because I mean, it gets cold, it gets rainy, it gets snowy, and all that. But this is mid-Atlantic. This is Philly. I mean, you don't see that like this. But anyhow, I mean, it has been crazy. So my apologies in advance if my window, which is right there, and receiving a pounding of rain shows up on the recording. So no, this is not a blooper reel, but the title of this podcast episode is Oops, Start Again. And the reason why is, show of hands for who's ever taken a job and they tell you, okay, yeah, we're hiring you to do XYZ, go. And they give you no training. They give you no cultural exposure to really get to know not only how to do the technical aspects of the job, but how to do the social aspects of the job. Because the technical aspects, you can learn that, but socially, it can make you or break you, right? They're hiring you because of a skill set. They need you to do that, or they at least believe you have the potential to do that. But then they take you, they pick you up and they throw you into the deep end of the pool and say, swim. you know, and I've had many jobs like that. It is not common. In fact, it's actually fairly rare where a company will take the time to bring you in, help you learn the ropes, and then kind of check in with you as you're going through things, not because you're in trouble, but just to make sure, hey, did you connect with so and so in this department? Did you connect with so and so on that team so that you can do your job better? Did they introduce you to these people? I mean, yeah, it's great. You get a coffee mug right on your desk, but I mean, fantastic. It just, yeah, just not common at all. Well, okay. To show you how uncommon it is, 48% of senior managers fail within 18 months. 48%. And not because of their skill set, but because they fail to be brought in culturally into the team and help them adapt to what's going on so that they can be successful. In other words, it is completely preventable, and companies literally are shooting themselves in the foot with 18 months. Within 18 months, it's insane. Okay, you spend all this time, all this money, all this effort, churn. It's just churning over. It's crazy. So, all right, if we think of our families in a similar way as a successful team, right? Then we really have to be aware of when we are communicating well and when we're not. And it's a drum that gets beat on because communication in families frequently sucks. It's not good. People make all kinds of assumptions. It's just not healthy. And frequently it's a little better than companies, but could always do better, right? Okay. If we consider ourselves like a successful team, though, what are some of the things that are most commonly seen in a successful team or a successful company? Well, uniforms or a certain style of dress, right? You go into a restaurant, they're all dressed the same. You go into an oil change place, they're all dressed the same. You go into, I don't know, a house of worship, they're typically dressed in a certain fashion because the culture and or the rules indicate that they are doing so. Okay. Then they have an employee handbook. And the employee handbook spells out all of the policies and procedures for which a person is going to do what they do and how they get vacation time and sick time and when they have to report to work and all that jazz. Okay. Then they get video training. So very frequently they will glance over certain aspects of the employee handbook, but then the video training kicks in to hit more specifically. So now you're watching OSHA videos, you're watching work safe videos, you're watching IT security videos, you're watching sexual harassment videos, you're watching all of these videos that are important, but they're giving you that training right there to help you. But that still doesn't address the culture. It just addresses the policies and procedures and the legal. What helps you with the culture are things like job shadowing, as an example, where somebody who maybe, let's say you're a senior executive and you have an assistant, all right? Now, the assistant isn't you. They don't have your job, but that assistant helping to onboard you could very well introduce you to all kinds of different departments and all kinds of different, places within the organization and all kinds of things. And then you've got to ramp up to speed as fast as possible, but still giving you an opportunity to spend an hour or two with the CFO, an hour or two with the CMHO, an hour or two with the chief of production, whatever the case is. You start to get an idea of what they do within the organization, because just because a person's the chief financial officer, it doesn't mean that they understand, I don't know, let's say operations and production, other than from the money numbers and metrics. Okay. So as family members, what can we do? Well, maybe we have a uniform or we have activities where we dress alike. Okay. So in Philly, people are crazy about the Eagles and they hate Dallas. Okay. It's just that way. Right. So you go into a family, you happen to be from Texas, and they're watching a game. I would recommend, unless they know you well, wear some different colors. Okay. Now, your employee handbook. Well, what could that be? Well, if you're religious, it could be the Bible, the Quran, the Talmud, etc. If you're not religious, it might be the types of books that you read or the types of materials that you read online. And your kids are seeing you do that, and you're encouraging them to do that. Okay. If you play music, it might be making sure that as a member of this family, we all play some kind of music, or we all appreciate music. And so we are listening to a certain kind of music, or you're taking piano lessons, whatever the case is. Your video training is really going to be a couple of things. It's, first of all, making sure that they're watching things online or things on TV that you approve of, because you've got to guard their heart, their mind, their spirit. You've got to guard what comes through their eyes and through their ears and penetrates into their spirit, their soul, because it's going to affect them. It's going to corrupt them if it doesn't agree with your values. Okay. But the interesting thing is, yes, you can also be there with them. That can be part of the job shadowing, quote unquote. But so, for example, with Dad Quote of the Day and Chef Dad, Chef Kid, one of the things that we did was we created this app that allows dads who may not be kitchen savvy, or maybe kitchen savvy, but the kids are younger. So kids between 4 and 14, as an example, they go into the kitchen. What do? They want to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Okay, great. So you're teaching them how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Fantastic. Do they know which knife to use? Or do you trust them to pull out the glass jar of strawberry jam, whatever it is? Okay. Maybe the plastic jar of peanut butter you're not worried about, but the glass jar, maybe you are. How old are these kids? So have they been job shadowing you as they are growing and maturing? Do you trust them to do certain things? That's really, really important, because if you don't trust them to do it, make sure that you're there to teach them. Or if you think they might do something wrong, just make sure you're there to watch them. But this is so important because when we have a team and we are making constructive decisions that take us upward, okay? Constructive decisions create positive momentum, which creates habits. So having a team, having a family that is guiding you into making more and more constructive, positive decisions only furthers and accelerates your positive momentum. But if you're making destructive decisions and those destructive decisions become destructive habits, drug use, pornography, criminality, a bunch of things that can lead you into a very, very negative spiral very quickly, you've got to have a team that can pull you out so that you can put the brake on, like right now, that negative momentum. Okay. But you also have to be willing to use the team, and you have to be willing to tell your kids that even though you disagree with their decision or you disagree with what they did, you still love them and you're here to support them. But ultimately, as they get older, Mama Bass always said, every pot's got to set on its own bottom. And that's true. So you're hoping that you're raising them well and you're raising them right so that they make good decisions. But you're part of that team, you're part of that family, and so are they. And so you've also got to be willing to listen to them, because if they feel that they are rejected by their family, they will regress in life very quickly. And frequently that kind of thing leads to serious crime and or death and or destruction through rampant drug use and things like that. We've got such an overwhelming amount of drug use, especially fentanyl and opioids, and even how it's being targeted towards kids now, especially. And it's literally just destroying a generation. We as dads and moms, we really have an opportunity right now to double down and triple down on what we expect of our kids and to invest greater time. We need to do it now before we lose these kids and before all kinds of other nasty things happen. We've got to find ways. So we're producing ways of doing that to help and support you guys, but you are far more important than we are in this case. We're just trying to find ways to give you tools to assist in developing positive and successful lives with you, your families, and your kids. So, all right, God bless you. Let me send you on your way. Father, I thank you for all of these dads and moms and kids that listen to these podcasts and watch them. I am grateful for everything that they do. Everything, day in and day out, whether it's going to the grocery store, whether it's brushing hair, whether it's doing laundry, whether it's bringing the kids alongside of them and teaching them how to do certain things. I know that there are times when there are things that I am uncomfortable doing around the house, but I do them. Lord, I ask that you would move and bless in a mighty way all of these families, that you would strengthen them, unify them, and guide them, give them discerning spirits as to understand what is attacking them, because their enemy is coming for their kids. And I pray that you'll give them grace and you'll protect them. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, listen, take care. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.